Hey guys, Long Haul Larry, and I am sitting up here in the Uper house, and just tackling a few things here and there and stuff, some projects and stuff, taking care of a few little things. And I had something come up today that just been bothering me. I've been thinking about it all day long, and I thought it'd make a pretty good topic for a video. People have wondered about me. I broke my back. I was working out in Maryland for ADL. And I was working out there and fell off the trailer. And I shattered two vertebrae in my back. And I ended up fracturing another one. Ended up going in there, getting some surgery and everything else. And it's been a long recovery. I'm still recovering. It's still a process that's going on. I get a lot of people asking me, when am I going to go back to work? Things like that. I don't think, I know for a fact I couldn't drive right now. There's no way that I could just be bouncing around going down the highway. There's just no way. I'm hoping to shoot kind of for spring. That's my plan. I have been working very hard to get back to the shape that I am in now, to get this back, working back again and stuff. I think it's progressing very well. Doctors has said that I have really come leaps and bounds, and this has been really good for the injury. Tracy's daughter's stepbrother, I think it is. He's actually in medical school, I think it is. And he actually looked at what happened to me. I guess he looked at the case and everything. And I guess they looked at it and stuff. And they said that what happened, the vertebrae that I broke, is actually the #1 cause of paralyzation in people. I was very lucky, and that I actually ended up getting the care that I got. And because when I did wake up from the injury, guys, I was paralyzed. I couldn't move my legs. And I had to do this army crawl thing to get to the truck, to get in the back of the truck, to get to my phone and everything. And I kind of pulled myself up and sat on a bucket and sat there and stuff. And when I finally got a hold of somebody, I tried to move and stuff, then I had a little bit of movement in my legs and stuff. But I was paralyzed at first and stuff. But then I got the help that I did, and I've actually made it through it, and I'm pretty good about it. A lot of people have asked about this return back to work and everything. The boss has had me helping with the dispatching and stuff. I don't know if that's going to continue when he comes back. I haven't gotten word of that. He has asked me. We talked about it a couple days ago. He sent me a message and said, hey, how about coming out to Maryland? I'll fly out and stuff and work on some trailers. And there's the truck that I bought out there, that older white Freightliner. And talk about looking into that, seeing what that would take to get that running again. And stuff like that. And I think he wants me to do stuff in the shop and blah, blah, blah and stuff. And I had to sit and really kind of evaluate it, because I've done a couple projects on my trucks, like my F-350 and Tracy's car and stuff down at the farm. And I thought I was doing pretty good. And I actually thought, you know what, I could do mechanical stuff. And I've talked to him in the past, like, I think I could help, And then working on that stuff, I came to the realization I'm not there yet. And we talked about it a couple days ago. My main problem with it is I can't lift very heavy things in front of me yet. I'm working up into weight and stuff like that, but I still can't lift heavy stuff. And the other thing is getting up and down from a creeper to get underneath a vehicle or something. That really hurts me. I don't know what it is, but when I lay down and I go sideways, my spine goes that way. And I do that multiple times, getting up and down. That really hurts me. And I tell you what, the first time, I think it was some brakes on the Expedition I worked on, that hurt. That was a lot of pain. And it took me a couple days to recover from that. It's been getting better as time goes on, but I'm still not there. I talked to the boss about it. And I told him, I said, I don't see how I can help out there. So I don't know where that's going. I told him, I said, not this month. Let's wait till January, maybe January or something. I can come home and give it a try. But I'm kind of just doing what I can. The main reason why, that's what's going on with me and work. The main reason why this video, it's something that happened today. It's happened, it was right before Thanksgiving. And something happened with me with the dispatching of the trucks with ADL and stuff. And and today it's come to a head, something's come up with it. And it's like, I looked at it and just going, man, some people just, ugh. And the thing is that this country, I don't know if it's really this country or not, but as a society, it's a sue-happy society. You know what I mean? You get a coffee in a drive-through at McDonald's and you spill it in your lap and it's hot and you sue McDonald's. So then they got to put on there, caution, this is hot. I mean, are you that stupid that you know that you get a cup of coffee and it's not hot? I mean, it's just that kind of stuff is everybody's suing each other. And when this accident first happened with me and stuff, a lot of people were like, you better watch what you put on YouTube. You better watch this and stuff because workman's comp and it's going to get you and the insurance companies are going to get you and all this other stuff. I do not like lawsuits. There is a necessary line for them. There is times, yes, I can get it. But I don't like lawsuits. When this happened and stuff, I was a 1099, so I was an independent contractor. So there's workman's comp and all that stuff is not there. That's on my own. Now I'm a little different than the other employees at ADL. And I actually did call and talk to an attorney. I did recovery and stuff and kind of found, okay, I'm going to recover from this. I'm working really hard to get back from this, but it's going to be a while and stuff. And everybody was just on me. You got to sue, you got to sue, you got to sue. And guys, I've had an accident before. I've gotten crushed in a semi-trailer at Kohler Company when I worked there. And, I fractured a vertebrae there and everybody was like, oh my goodness, sue Kohler, sue Kohler. And I could have very easily, but I just didn't because Kohler didn't do it to me. Herb Kohler didn't come in there and push the pallet off the forks onto me and crush me in the inside there. It was an accident and everything was taken care of and stuff and, life went on. Same thing with this. I did call an attorney. I did talk to attorneys about it because everybody was just on me about it. And not you guys, but people I know. And they were like talking about it, different things. And there was a couple attorneys, because I wasn't set up in a certain way of payroll. They were like, no, we're not going to do it. But because of the way that I was an employee there, I was a little different than everybody else. And so there was a couple attorneys that said, oh yeah, we could definitely. And I'm talking, I'm thinking 250,000. Other people are saying, oh no, it's going to be a lot more than that. Would have been a good chunk of change. But I felt horrible about it. And I did some soul searching on it. And here's the aspect I came to it. If I was going to do that, what I was going to end up having to do was to sue the boss. And basically take away his livelihood. Yeah, there's insurance and everything else, but I don't know what it all would have covered and stuff. And I would have had to sue the boss personally. And the way I look at it is, the boss didn't come out there while I was up on the ladder and push the ladder weld. He didn't intentionally do this to me. And it was called an accident. I was taken care of. I had my surgery. I was working through the recovery. I'm doing it. And I just went, you know what? It's called an accident. He didn't push me off the ladder. I'm not going to do this to him. And a couple people I know, they were like, that's just silly. And I just said, you know what? I just think everybody needs to stop suing each other. It's called an accident, you know. And so I had a conversation with the boss, and I know that he was nervous about it. I do know that he was kind of tiptoeing around me. And I know he was nervous about it. And I actually sat down with him on the phone and had a pretty good conversation about it. And I told him, and I will tell you that my boss has been taking care of me. Because the attorneys that I did talk to, they were like, for wages and all this stuff. And I'm like, my boss has been paying my wage ever since this happened. They were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's crazy. That is just intense. And I'm like, he's just been paying it out of his pocket, no problem, no questions and stuff. And it has been reduced. It has been a reduced rate and everything lately. Because I actually had a conversation with him, and he paid me full amount. Then we had the conversation, and I told him, I said, listen, dude, I'm not going to sue you. I'm just not going to do it. Because I just don't feel this was your fault. You can say, well, he bought the ladder. Well, yeah, he bought the ladder, but, he didn't make it slip off of there and fall down. You could say, well, it was Harbor Freight, and and all this stuff. You know what? They produced the ladder, and I put the ladder up against there, and it fell off. There was people saying I should sue Harbor Freight and stuff, but I can tell you right now, that would have been such a horrible ordeal, and there's just no way that's going to happen. And I'm not looking for free money in my life. I work for a living. I work for what I want. I'm not looking for the cash payout. I am fine. I will recover. I will come back. Everything will be fine. So I just don't think it's right to sue people. I just don't think it is. Now, if somebody does something intentionally, okay, that's a different story. If the boss would have come out there and pushed the ladder because he was mad at me or something, okay, well, first we would have had a few words. And then there would have probably been a lawsuit. But he didn't push the ladder, so I just don't feel it's right. So we talked about it, and I just told him, dude, I know you're worried about this. I'm not going to sue you. Do not worry about this. And he even said that he even talked to his attorney about it and tried to figure out if there's a way that they could get some money to me. And he said basically the only thing that I could do is to sue him. And so, he's been very, very good. I mean, he's been protecting me, and he's been helping me along through this whole thing. I could not have gone through this without him helping me like this. And so I have no ill will for the guy whatsoever. I think that the boss, I know that some people that had worked here like to talk some smack and stuff. There's one or two guys, but I can tell you that he is a businessman and he makes decisions, and sometimes people don't feel those are the right decisions, but they're the right decisions for his company. And as a person, as himself, I think that his integrity is very high. And so I think that's the way it is. And so that's what has happened with me in the past and everything. I told him to stop paying me. I told him, I said, because he was like, I'm trying to do this, but I don't know how much longer I can do it. And I'm like, dude, you can stop paying me. I completely understand. And then he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I'm thinking maybe a little bit reduced. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to turn you down, but you can do what you want. But I'm telling you, I understand if you need to stop paying me. And he still continues to pay me. And I'm helping out with this dispatching and stuff like that. And actually, to tell you the truth, when he comes back, I would actually not mind continuing to do it with him. We would need to work out a few things, get a little better on some things, but I don't mind it. I don't mind somebody's texting me right now. I don't know who it is, but you know what? They can wait. Here's the issue that's bothered me today. My boss got something, I don't know how he got it or what, if it was dropped off at the shop and a copy of it was sent to him or what. But basically he's saying that he is being subpoenaed, or not subpoenaed, served papers. And it's because of a truck driver. I I basically, I don't know if I would consider it fired a truck driver. Basically, he couldn't work there anymore. And I could tell you, this truck driver was a complete ass. He was the worst of the worst. This guy had an attitude that you would not believe. I could tell you some of the things that he said, and over the years I've known this guy, and I could never stand talking to him because it was just constant, just blah 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 blah, just constant stuff. And it was just like, if you don't like it here, go away. You know, why are you still working here? And basically what happened is, when I think it was like a year ago, he got a ticket up in Pennsylvania, I think. I'm not really sure where. And he got a ticket. I don't know what it was for, speeding or something. And he didn't pay it. And then at the last minute or something, he basically got a hold of the boss and said, oh, hey, I got this ticket. Can you pay this? For one thing, as a truck driver, take care of your own stuff. Your driver's license is your concern. You have to protect that. If you have a ticket or something like that, you need to take care of that. You don't sit here and just push it off. Well, then he wanted the boss to pay it or something, and the boss could take it out of his check or something. And the boss is like, whatever. He always helps out people and stuff. So he went online and looked it up and everything and paid what it said. Well, then earlier this year, I was out at the shop and we got a phone call, and that driver ran a stop sign in Ohio and pulled right out in front of a cop coming down the highway. And the cop almost hit him. And the cop flipped the lights on, pulled him over, and ran his driver's license. Guess what? His license was suspended. I guess what happened when they did some research is the boss paid the fine, what he said it was and everything, he paid it, but I guess there was some kind of late fee. The guy didn't pay it on time or something, and there was some kind of like $10 fee or something, or filing fee, I don't know what it was. But some $10 thing that wasn't paid with this, and that made his license be suspended. That's not the boss's fault. He went on there and paid what he asked him to pay and stuff, and paid the amount on there. And so I had to jump in a truck with another truck driver, and we had to bobtail all the way to Ohio. That truck driver hooked up to this guy's trailer, and he continued on with the load to Wisconsin. Then I had to jump in his truck and drive him back to Maryland. And, and I drove, the truck driver going out there, it was so bad. He was like, oh, I'm tired. And I'm like, I've been working all day in the shop. And I'm like, whatever. So I drove all the way to Ohio. Then I get over there, and this guy here, well, he just crawls in the back and goes to sleep. He's been sitting there all day while I've been trying to figure this out from the night before. Sitting there all day long sleeping. I get over there, this guy crawls in the back and closes the curtain. I'm like, are you serious? And I had to drive all the way back from Ohio. I got back, it was like 5 in the morning by the time I got back. I was dog tired. And I just thought, what a jerk, at least come up there and keep me company to keep me awake, whatever. But then, and then when we got back, then the guy jumped in his car and drove home to Pennsylvania. He didn't have a license then, whatever. But then he went and got it straightened out, I guess, and got his license back. Well, I guess he got some kind of piece of mail. I don't know, if somebody lives with somebody or how he got it, whatever. But he got something saying something about his driver's license. There might be an issue with it. And he contacted the boss, and the boss was on vacation, but he contacted him through this app thing and said, hey, something's going on with my driver's license. Can you check it out? So my boss is on vacation, and he's going through and I'll do it. Why can't he do it? I mean, it's his driver's license, but whatever. And the boss went and checked it all out and got a response from Pennsylvania. And he had to pay a $600 fine when he got pulled over in Ohio. I don't know if it was a combination of the stop sign and also with the suspended license, whatever. But he just paid the ticket. And the boss was like, you need to get a lawyer and fight this, because this $10 thing was not on there, and, there's no reason you should have this. And he's like, no, I'm just going to pay the ticket. I don't want to mess with it. And so he paid his ticket. Well, what he didn't realize is with that ticket also came a year of suspension of his driver's license. And the boss talked to me about it and everything else. And I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is an ass. Well, since I started dispatching, this guy has given me so much grief. He has talked to me that no one has ever talked to me. And I can tell you that face to face, he would never talk to me like that. But he loves the Texas stuff. And he is, whatever. And I mean, and the messed up, one of the messed up, I'll tell you about how some of the stuff. He would go to the trailer. He came home on a Friday, was off work, came back on Monday, and had to go over to the trailer yard to pick up a trailer. And we usually give out a list. Take this trailer, you take this trailer, whatever. So he showed up there and started sending me texts and everything. This trailer's got a flat tire on it. This is ridiculous. This equipment is junk and all this other stuff. Okay, it's not junk. Okay, he has like new equipment. And it had a flat tire in it. Okay. Nobody has told me this. Somebody dropped it there with a flat tire and didn't message me and say, hey, Larry, I just dropped this trailer at the yard, and when I unhooked, I did a walk around and found out there was a flat tire. I could have called the tire guy out. I could have talked to the mechanic that works at our shop on the weekends and said, hey, buddy, I need you to run over to the trailer yard and fix this tire. Nobody notified me of this. And so I'm like, okay, well, look at this trailer. So then he went to this next trailer. Guess what? That trailer had a flat tire on the opposite side. And he went belligerent on me. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? If people don't notify me, I can't fix this. Then he was all like, whatever, they're still flat. Okay, well, it's the driver's responsibility to notify it, And so he grabbed a different trailer and took off. And he drove across the country, and he had a delivery in Oklahoma. And he was coming in here, he's 20 miles away. And he started blowing my phone up. The brakes are junk in this trailer. There's smoke coming out, there's squealing noises coming out, everything else. And I'm looking at, the app to see where he is, okay? And he's 15 miles away from his delivery point. And he's got like 2.5, 3 hours. I showed he had a delivery at 8 o'clock. I was told he had an 8 o'clock delivery. And I looked around there and I found a Love's that was in the same town that he was delivered to. And he was delivered to a Walmart. So he can't be late for that appointment. If you're late for a Walmart appointment, they'll turn you away and you got to make a new appointment. And it's going to screw up his whole schedule for all the other loads we have booked. So I'm like, well, can you go underneath there and look at it and see if there's a brake hung up or is there a brake pad missing? See what's going on? He wouldn't even answer me. I said, if you don't understand the parts underneath there and stuff, take your phone, take pictures, or take a video underneath there. And I can look at it and I can tell you what's wrong. And he wouldn't respond. And finally I says, listen, you can't miss this appointment. I need you to nurse this thing in to Walmart. Get this thing in there, make this appointment. I talked to Love's people, I talked to the mechanic. They close at 11, try to get empty, try to get over there by 11 o'clock and everything else. If you don't make it by 11, you can check in and go to sleep there. You'll be the first appointment in the morning. We'll get this checked out, get it fixed, whatever the problem is. He just had a huge fit. That people lied to him about appointment times and this is unsafe and just, stupidest stuff ever. Okay? It was just like, whatever, dude. And he's like, I'm just going to go there now. No, you're not going to go there now because you're going to screw yourself up. You're right there by the place. It's actually further to go to the Love's. So you go to Walmart and get this taken care of. Finally, I got this done. He got empty and and I talked to the guy at the Love's and he said, even if we're closed, we close at 11, but we still have a tire guy, tell him to come over and check in. There's nobody on the list for repairs, and he'll be the first one in the morning. So I told him this. I said, I see you're not going to make it. Make sure to go over there and check in, because then he'll be first. He didn't. He just sat where he was. The next morning, he goes and checks in. He gets up, super late, gets up, and then sends me a message. He goes, how long do you think this is going to take? I'm like, how am I supposed to know? You won't go underneath there and look at it. You won't send me photos. You won't send me a video. You won't go over there and check in to have somebody look at it. How am I supposed to know what's wrong with it to tell you how long it's going to fix? And his other thing was, how long is Love's going to take to get me in? I don't know. You didn't go there. I'm not there. I don't know these things. And finally, he drove over there, and he was there just for a couple minutes. And then he came back and sent a message and said, yeah, they looked at it and there's nothing wrong. I said, what do you mean? I says, they haven't called me for billing. He goes, yeah, it's all good. I said, so there's no noises, there's no smoke? He goes, no, it's all good. I don't know what was going on. I really don't know. But it was crazy. And I mean, he drove back with the next load and completely screwed himself up. I mean, because he drove from there like an hour and a half down and to get his next load. Then he drove out and he sent me a text message and said, I'm going 7 miles an hour. You need to tell me how I can make appointments like this. And I need an answer right now. That's what he said. He said, look at my camera and look at this traffic. It was 5:40 in the afternoon, and he was coming eastbound out of Dallas, downtown Dallas. And if anybody's been down there, there's a big reservoir down there, and there's these couple bridges that goes across. So right on the other side, it's all housing and shopping and stuff. And so when you go across there, any kind of rush hour thing, it's just backed up like crazy. The first couple exits, everybody turns off, everybody goes up, because it's always backed up in there. It's always. And I'm like, I responded back to him. I'm like, what are you wanting here? What do you want me to answer? You went through downtown Dallas at 5 o'clock. Of course you have traffic. We, as truckers, we try to plan these things, but sometimes things happen. That's just called trucking. But you work around it. And it was like he wanted me to meet Moses or something and mine telepathy down to Dallas, Texas, and park the highway for him. And he drove basically into Arkansas and shut down with like 5 hours left to drive on his clock. And he had to be up at the shop by Saturday at noon. And I was just like, the next morning I saw him shut down there, and he had all these hours left to drive, but he's just shut down there. I'm like, whatever. Boss is like, is he going to make it? I'm trying to text the guy and stuff. Are you going to make this? And finally, then he's like, probably not. And I'm like, so then we're trying to figure out what we're going to do and everything. And he ran it, and he basically ran he had almost 1,000 miles to do. And instead of running 700 miles, that's legal, he ran 420 miles in the next day and then just shut down. And then the last day he was like super late because he had to do all these miles, and then he was complaining and everything. And it's just like, he was just a butt. And then when he was coming up, he was heading to the yard and he turned off in Fort Royal. He just went past the Pilot truck stop. Then he went out 64 or whatever. And then he went up, and then we turned 15 out of Fort Royal or whatever that is. And it goes up to the shop. He sends me a message and he goes, does the BP in Virginia here take our comm data cards, our fuel cards? How am I supposed to know that? It's that if some little gas station. And I looked at it and I knew where he was, and there's like a couple little gas stations and stuff, but there's no big truck stops. And I'm like, he just went past it. And I says, how am I supposed to know if that little BP gas station takes comm data? I'm not there. And he goes, well, I told you what it was. You said a BP in Virginia. And this guy was just so bad. He was driving me nuts, okay? And then he pulled in there, and I'm like, and he's like, I can't make the yard, I'm gonna run out of fuel. Well, you just passed the pilot truck stop. Why didn't you fuel there? But he actually did fuel there. I guess they took calm data. I told him finally, I says, you know what you can do? You can go inside and ask. And he did, and he filled the whole truck up there, which, we don't get a discount on stuff. The pilots we do. And so then he did all this stuff, and it was just all tons of stuff. And then he went and got the next load. He's been super late. He made another guy late, blah, blah, blah. And then he got this other load on him, and he just shut down. And it was like, he kept shutting down with time left to drive. And it's like, he's complaining about this. And it's like, do your full clock. But then the next day, I'm like, he is not going to make this appointment. And so I sent him a message, and I'm like, listen, you're not going to make this appointment. Does this need to be rescheduled or what? What's going on here? And he sent me a message back, and he says, I'll be fine. I'll be there before midnight. Why don't you leave me alone, and I'll show you what I can do, except in a lot bad words. Okay? This guy is just terrible. And I just, whatever. I was like, whatever. And this guy went and did this, and he actually did get there in time. He actually got there, and he went and checked in, and he was early for his appointment. And then he pulled across the road, and he went to sleep. And guess what? He slept all the way through his appointment. The next morning, me and the boss were talking back and forth, and we're like, we couldn't get him up. I kept texting him, I kept calling him, just went straight to voicemail. The boss is sending him stuff through his app, can't get a hold. So then me and the boss were talking about, let's call an Uber and actually have an Uber come out there and honk his horn and wake the guy up, and we'll just tip the guy, the Uber driver. And we actually tried to, but there was no Uber available at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just like, the appointment's already gone. There's nothing we can do. And so then when he woke up, he calls me. He's like, oh, hey, man, I guess I overslept. And I'm like, I wanted to say it so bad. Oh, I guess you showed me what you could do. But I didn't say nothing. And I'm like, did you go over there and check to see if you could check in? And he said, yes, I did. And they said, nope, all the appointments are done and I have to reschedule. I said, all right. I said, find some place to sit and I'll have to reschedule just so it's going to screw up Thanksgiving. And I had to do all kinds of rescheduling and stuff, and we had to find new loads for when to get back and everything, and did all this. And then we got the information about his license. And the boss, being overseas, he couldn't open up the files and stuff. And so he sent me the files. And he says, hey, look at this, see what's going on. So I looked at it, and I'm like, his license is getting suspended in December. And it's going to be suspended for 1 year. And he's like, that idiot. I told him to hire an attorney. And the boss even has a friend who's an attorney. And he's like, I even thought about helping him, but he's just such an ass. And I'm like, you know what? This is your opportunity to just say goodbye. Get rid of this guy. And we and the boss talked about it, and he goes, you know what? You're right. And he goes, I'm going to tell him that you've read all the information and you'll talk to him about it and explain it all to him. I said, okay. And I was on the phone with some brokers and stuff, and I was trying to fix some loads for another driver and having to call and do some stuff. And then all of a sudden, this driver started like, what's going on? And so I was on the phone holding, waiting for a broker. And so I texted him a message, and I said, listen, I'm on the phone right now with a broker. I can't talk right now. I think we need to talk about it instead of texting now, blah, blah, blah. I says, when I'm done here, I will call you and we'll discuss everything. And I sent that to him. And he responded to me. This is what his personality. He responded to me saying, why do you have to put it in a whole paragraph? I don't need to read a whole paragraph and be bored. Just give me a short answer. I was trying to be a civil guy. I have never once given this guy attitude, and he has just been horrible. I mean, the profanity and the wise stuff. I could say some of the stuff that he has said, and I don't even want to get into it. that, like, to the boss. I would have fired him a long time ago. And finally, I was like, I sent it to the boss, and I'm like, are you kidding me here? And he's like, you know what? Just tell him that his license was suspended. After he delivers a load, go to the yard, clean out your truck. Can't work here if you don't have a driver's license. And so that's what I said. I sent him that message. And I put it in his language. I actually put a little naughty word in there. And I told him, I says, okay, shorten in your language. And I put a little naughty word in there, just to kind of just to dig at him a little bit. And never responded. Never did anything. He drove way over hours, drove the truck back to the shop, and dropped everything there and went home for Thanksgiving. He was supposed to come out and deliver the load. He decided he wasn't going to do that or whatever, so we had to get somebody else to deliver the load and all this other stuff. And he's cleaned the truck out. Well, guess what he's done now? Now he's trying to sue the boss. I just don't get this stuff. How can you sue the boss? Did he drive your truck and get you a speeding ticket? No. Okay? It's your responsibility to pay to take care of your own driver's license. And he doesn't do that. And then he asks the boss to go pay it. So the boss goes online, okay. He pays what it says. He doesn't know they tacked on some other thing because he didn't pay it in time. Because the driver didn't pay it in time and they tacked on or some other kind of fee or something. He doesn't know this. But that's not his responsibility. It's the responsibility of the trucker to look at his driver's license and then keep track of it and make sure things are done and good. But nothing is ever his fault. Everything is everybody else's fault. So now he's filing a lawsuit against my boss. My boss is just like, and I told him, I said, I could have told you he's gonna blame you for this. You know, everything is somebody else's fault. And so it's just crazy, you know. And then he told them over there, don't deal with this. Get a lawyer. This should be fought. And nope, I'm just going to pay it. That's his decision. And he just didn't realize that when you get pulled over without a license, guess what? That also comes with the suspension of your license for another year. So that's his fault. But somehow, you know, he's going to try to sue the boss over it. And whatever. I'll tell you right now, I am there as a character witness, and I will definitely go in there and explain to this judge what a real truck driver is supposed to do and how a truck driver is supposed to maintain their license and supposed to protect that license with everything they can. And it's his responsibility, not somebody else's, and everything else. It's a crazy situation, and it's the way the world is. Everybody's just sue happy, you know. Some little thing happens to you, and you just want to sue everybody. You know what? Take responsibility of your own life. It's pretty crazy. It is what it is. But yeah, it's been bothering me all day long about it. I just think the world needs to just relax a little bit and stop trying to get things out of everybody. Work hard for it and get it yourself. And stop trying to cut the corners and get a big paycheck for absolutely nothing. You know, it's his deal. Yeah, it's a crazy situation. So we'll see what all happens with it. I don't see how there could be any lawsuit. I mean, the boss isn't responsible for paying somebody's driving tickets or whatever that they incur. That's the driver's responsibility, point blank. But whatever. But we'll move on and progress on. I do have a couple truck drivers that are being hired, and now we have another opening to fill it. So we are looking for one more. I've talked to one guy and stuff. I don't think I'm going to go with him. I don't really feel positive about him. So if you're interested, you better get that application in there. It's a pretty good place to work. I think it's a good place. So there you go. Stop suing everybody. Oh, my light just turned off. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night when they watch this here video. And if you're not, you can certainly try that all over again tomorrow. Catch you later. Bye.